know, in America, the time span from one side of the country to the other, at least continentally, is 3 hours. So in New York, when it's 8 o'clock playing the first episode, it's 5 o'clock in the morning in California. So I woke up at 4:30 in the morning to get on the internet, start chatting with fans beforehand, and then chat with them afterward. Because, of course, for me, part of the challenge was after I got cast, or after the cast list got on the internet, which it of course did very quickly, people went on the internet and looked up what I had done.
Digimon.
Well, people then found a little show called Digimon. And the character that I was best known for, and the voice of the show, something along these lines, his name was Kaplan. Yes, indeed, brother. Yeah.
Season 2.
Yep. And I played. Who's the guy that I played on season 3? Babel. You know the black guy. He was one of the programmers. You know how they had the Digimon come into the real world. You know they dealt with the programmers. I was the big bald black guy. Which you know, I like that. But anyway, you can imagine all these Transformers fans from around the world figuring that Optimus Prime was going to start something like this. Transformers, roll out! Be careful of the company, please. You know, and you know, so there were lots of posts on the internet, basically something to the effect of, "Oh no, Transformers are ruined. Optimus Prime is going to be played by that fag Kaplan." And they didn't mean cigarette, you know. And then, of course, to get on the internet after the show and to have people start saying, "Wow, you know, that was you," or "That wasn't Peter," or that was just like I remember Peter," or "If you can't get Peter Kaplan, I can't imagine anybody being any better." I mean, suddenly all these people who were worried about me and saying nasty things about me were writing much nicer things, and that was great because I knew that was going to be the case. You know, I have an idea of what I can do. You know, so that was a lot of fun. That was pretty cool. And the significance, the way I describe the significance is, I liken it to, I call myself, as it were, the George Lazenby of Transformers. Okay? I don't know if anybody knows who George Lazenby is, but there's a character called James Bond. And there was a little movie called On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and that was the one time that he did it. And no matter what happens in the rest of his life, no matter how many James Bonds there are, how many movies there are, he's still James Bond. Nobody can take that away. And when you start having people
bad at it.
What? No, he was great. He was great. It was a production issue. It was really not so much him. And when you realize the fact that he really wasn't an actor, you know, he was a model. No, he did great.
Wasn't he the one who said, "I'm not going back to play it again"? Something like that. I thought he was.
I don't think so. I think he was in between Sean Connery. I think Sean Connery was making some contract demand and kind of went, you know, back to him. But one of the things that's interesting is the last time I was in England, you know, for a Transformers convention, I came out to Amsterdam because I always heard about it. I always wanted to check it out. And on my way out of Amsterdam, on my way back to England, I'm on the train and I pick up a Dutch newspaper. And two things that I noticed. One was the obituary for Jonathan Harris, who played Dr. Smith on Lost in Space. And the reason I knew it was an obituary was obviously the way that they had printed it. Put his name and put the age, the way it was written, and where I saw Lost in Space in the article, I could just figure out it was his obituary. Then I'm looking through another part of the paper and it's got movie times. And I'm starting to notice, oh, well, Amsterdam's a few months behind us. Born Identity is out, and it was out during the summer, blah, blah, blah. I'm looking through it, all of a sudden, it just jumped out of the paper, right there, as one of the multiplexes, on Her Majesty's Secret Service. And so I've got a picture, you know, from the Dutch newspaper, just showing that it's like, gee, see, I was right, you know. So I thought that was interesting, and one day I hope to meet him, and maybe he'll say, "It's nice to meet you. I'll think of myself as the Neil Kaplan of James Bond." Thank you. You know, but because the fact of it is that at this point in the English-speaking world, there are only 3 human beings that are alive today that can say, "I was the voice of Optimus Prime." Right? I gotta feel pretty good about that. You know, and when people, you know, and when people who don't know the show, you know, you tell me I worked on Transformers, and they go, "Robots in disguise." For me, that holds a bit more of a meaning, because not only is that a theme song, but that was my show. So, exactly.
Are you aware that there's a Dutch dub?
Right.
There is.
Yep.
I don't know if it's on DVD today. I haven't seen it. There is a Dutch dub.
Well, that's why I say English speaking.
You're being dubbed as well. That's an honor.
Well, you know, it'd be interesting. You know, it certainly would be interesting to find out if the guy's listening to me. You know, going off of that. That would certainly be interesting. There you go. So how far was who came the furthest today? So. I mean, not overall, but just today. Just today.
Well, yeah, I love the rock and roll.
Okay, all right. Is everybody from this neighborhood? But you came on the train about an hour.
Very near Amsterdam.
Okay. And how far was your trip?
From England, it is.
Well, if it's taking that long to figure out. Yeah, well, we'll just call you the winner.
You have a free apple juice. I gotta get it. Here it comes. Oh my god. Dude, make my voice.
Well, I actually like mustard. One of the favorite things that I ever did was a short film in which I played an evil bottle of squeezed mustard. No, I really like that movie, and it was actually
your resume.
it actually is pretty high up there, because the guy who wrote it, produced it, and directed it was a guy by the name of David Cameron. He's got an older brother who you might have heard of. Made a little movie about that boat.
Yeah.
You know, no, I really didn't like it. I thought it was poorly put together production. You know, and yeah, it does bother me, because I told these guys, and I think I think Kaylee's still, you know, my friend Fred over here. My friend Fred. I'm gonna call her Fred. I'm gonna say Fred.
Yeah, it was a great honor to meet you, Neville.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, that's all
Going
right.
back home now.
That's all right. At least it still contains most of the same. Or Nigel, either one. It's got the 4 main letters, so I'm good. I'm covered. I'm in there. But if people actually found out how little we got paid on Robots in Disguise, and then to find out that they took the job and moved it someplace else, it's like, you weasels, you know? Because it's not like they really moved it to save money. They certainly didn't move it to make it a better show. So they just moved it to make it as far as I'm concerned. You know?
I think don't post it.
Yeah, delete that.
No. I try. Just have some common sense. I mean, I'm being stupid enough to say this stuff in public, so if it gets on the internet, well, it's my own damn fault.
It's okay to say.
You know. But you know, it's like I've said a couple of times, you know, about some of these actors that I keep hearing about in Canada. Every now and then I get my panties into a bunch, and I say, you know what, they're so goddamn good, let me come down to Hollywood and jump in the big boy pool, okay? Because, you know, I'm from the Bay Area, where a lot of video games are done, in San Jose and San Francisco. A lot of video game companies have their headquarters there. If all I wanted to be was a star in my own little thimble, you know, well then I go up to the Bay Area and I'd be doing video games left and right, and people would know me all over the world, okay? No. I want to swim with the big boys. I want to do the real projects. I want to, have my name on things, my credits on things. I want to work the best in the world.